Hey guys, how's it going? This is Gerald Harris with houseflippingguide.com. Common sense answers to real estate investing. And I wanted to go ahead and do a video real fast. I had a young lady in the House Flipping Family Facebook group go ahead and ask me a question. And the question was, hey Gerald, do you have a video explaining your background and why it is you chose real estate? And it's interesting because I answer that question in bits and pieces throughout many of the different videos, but I've never done it on one video. So this is who I am and why I chose to invest in real estate. And so, my name is Gerald Harris, born and raised in Pomona, California. Um, Years ago, this is going back to whew, 95, maybe even 94. I caught a late night infomercial, and it was Carlton Sheets. And he was talking about his no money down techniques. If you all don't know who Carlton Sheets is, just go ahead and go to Google. Google Carlton Sheets. But before that, when I was getting out of high school, there wasn't when you went to go talk to the guidance counselor, um, there wasn't I don't know if it was a class or a major, whatever. Uh, Nobody was talking about real estate. But the thing that fascinated me was years before that, my grandmother, my great grandmother, God rest her soul, she was one of the first, and I think she was the only black woman in that area, or even that I wouldn't say the state, but in that area, who had purchased her own church. And this is back in the 60s, okay, when you didn't even think like that, right? What my grandmother used to do way back in the days when I was before I was born actually, and even when I was just a small little kid, what she used to do was this. My grandmother, I keep saying my grandmother, my great grandmother, what she did was she would adopt mentally challenged or mentally retarded children. And what she would do is she would uh, somehow, some way, I don't know how it worked, but the more severe the case of the child, the more the state paid you back in the days. Well, my great grandmother had a lot of love in her heart, right? She had, I want to say, at least, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 kids at the time. And some of them had mild retardation. Some of them were severe. And so back in those days, my grandmother was making an income of somewhere around maybe $25,000 a month because of the severity of the children. In order for the state to go ahead and take care of them, it would take the state a lot more money. So they would go ahead and just say, "Hey, look, private individuals, you take care of these children." And so my grandmother, by nature, was a teacher. She was a leader. She just was one of those people who had the good heart, loved the Lord, and had a ton of love in her heart. And so what she used to do was she used to watch. She used to adopt these mentally retarded, severely handicapped children. So what my great grandmother used to do was she would take the monies from watching these children and she would buy real estate. My great grandmother at the time, this is like, I want to say late 60s, early 70s at the time, great grandma, from the story that I was told, had probably she owned 10 houses. But what she would do, somewhere in the ballpark of 10 houses, what she would do is she would take the time and give those houses to her grandchildren. In other words, she would go ahead and buy the houses, pay them off, She would just buy them with cash and just go ahead and give them to her grandbabies. Her whole objective was not necessarily to invest in real estate. Her objective was to take care of family. Now, here my great grandmother is. She's watching these children that are severely handicapped mentally. She takes the profits that she obtains from these children, and she takes care of them. But at the same time, she goes ahead and buys her grandchildren, which are my aunts and uncles. She takes the time to buy her grandchildren houses, properties. And at the time, I had a total of it was like eight aunts and uncles, and so everybody for the most part got a house, right? Um, and that's what grandma would do. It wasn't necessarily for like rental income. Grandma just wanted to go ahead and take care of family. So somewhere in between there, she ended up buying a church. She was one of the first black women in that area to own her own church. And I remember as a child, we used to go ahead and serve in a church, and we used to um, do all the things that are involved. In other words, she had some outside people. She had some friends and family had some friends come to the church, but for the most part, it was really family that was involved in the church. Her whole focus was, I'm going to uh, do whatever I can within my power and my resources to get my family to heaven. And she ended up buying a church, and we, as a family, me, my cousins, aunts, and uncles, we all served in some aspect of that church. Uh, I thought that at the time, I was just like, wow, because we all grew up in the same area in Pomona, California. And at the time, I just always thought that we didn't grow up like cousins. We grew up all like brothers and sisters. And I just thought that that was just the coolest thing. It was so fascinating to me. Well, as I was told this story and I got older, the thing that impressed me was real estate. It just clicked. Grandma really had no super education or anything like that. She was merely just buying and acquiring an asset that I don't even think she thought about it going up in value. She was just looking to take care of family. But me and one of my cousins, before he passed away, one of my cousins, we would talk about uh, great grandma Medea and how she was able to go ahead and buy all that real estate just to go ahead and take care of family. Um, well, fast forward to 1995, 1996, I go ahead and I see this commercial. Obviously, before that, in high school, I always had this fascination with real estate, but I did nothing with it. And then you fast forward to like 95, 96. I ended up buying my first house. And I remember I went to a public auction at a hotel in San Bernardino, California. And it was a property in Victorville, California. It was a little 3 bedroom, 2 bath house, right? Um, I remember I was just so excited, so pumped. I didn't know what the heck to do. I had gotten that property, and then it took some time to go ahead and fix that up. But then I was working on my second property. I had gotten the second property, and then I didn't have an opportunity to fix that up. And then I was going on my third property, and I want to say in 1999, 2000, I lost everything in foreclosure. Uh, that was a very difficult time, and that's why I'm so adamant now about you all working with hard money lenders and contractors, not knowing just because you get a great deal, it doesn't mean it's a great deal. It really, really does have to do with your total team. I didn't understand that back in the days. I was a maverick. I wanted to do how I wanted to do things. You know what I mean? I wanted to. It was about me. And in real estate, that's just a wrong attitude to have. And so I fell victim to foreclosure, and I sat on the sidelines for a while. Until 2000. I want to say 2003, 2004. Getting my real estate license. I worked in areas of where did I work in? Corona, California, Rancho Cucamonga, California, Ontario, California, Long Beach, California. I worked in several places throughout the United States. I was working with Century 21. Then I worked with Buy. It was I was with ERA Real Estate, and I was with a small company. I think they were Buy America. I think it was Buy America Real Estate. Um, and I was an agent from that point all the way up until from 2000, I want to say 4 to 2011. And all I did, my focus was sellers. My focus was always sellers and helping people in distressed situations. So I did real estate for that period of time. And in between that, I'm going to say this had to be ooh, maybe 2000, right before the crash. It was right before the crash, 2005, five-ish, I want to say. I had a friend of mine had a house in Montclair, California, and she had a property that was a little under market, needed some work, and I told her that I can go ahead and find a cash buyer for that house, or I could find a buyer for that house. Um, End up putting that property under contract. Then we put it under contract for like 350. We turned around and I turned around, found some investors in like 2 weeks. They bought the property uh, from me via the contract for 370. In 60 days we closed, and I ended up making like 20 grand on my first wholesale deal. And from then on out, I was hooked, man. You know, I um uh, I continued to invest in real estate uh, from let me see, from that's '96 when I bought my first house. I stopped for a little while, and then I continued to. I did her house. That was 2005. Uh, and then from 2005, I would have some times where I would invest in real estate, and there would be other times that I would not. Um, but let me see. I want to say 2000. Fast forward to 2012, I moved from California to Charlotte, North Carolina in 2012. And then from Charlotte, I stayed there for like 2000, excuse me, I stayed there for about a little over 2 years. I relocated from Charlotte to here to Atlanta, Georgia. And it was interesting because, let me back up a little bit. While I was in Charlotte, uh, I don't think anybody, because I'm just like the hundreds, if not thousands of people that go ahead and do a little something on social media. When I was in Charlotte, I had done a video on YouTube. I've had a channel for quite some time, but I had done a video on YouTube. This was 2013. I think I did the video. 2014, something like that. I had done this video and didn't think anything of it, right? I come back to the video. It was 2013. 2013. I came back. I came back to the video a year and a half later. Like I said, I paid no attention. I put some stuff on YouTube, just like a lot of other people, and just let it go ahead and sit. You know, didn't pay any attention to it, anything like that. Came back to it a year and a half later, and this is probably like early 2015, and I saw that video had like 10,000 views, and I had like 200 to 300 subscribers. I didn't understand it because I had really done nothing with that channel. We all go ahead and do a little something out there, and we do different things. And all I was doing really with that video was talking about my experiences. Well, I began to look at that video like, okay, so that's what people want. They want real estate investing tips. So I would mess around with it here and there, until I would say late 2017, early 2018 is when I got a little more focused. And around that time, so to be a year ago to this month, I hit somewhere around 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, right? And what I was doing was really just giving the world my experiences. It's me, typically, as you all know, talking either from my car, or I'm talking from either this background here. But at the time, I'm typically just going ahead and doing recordings in my car, and I'm giving people just information, my experiences, what I have experienced, what I am experiencing. And I just started giving that. It was like I looked at it as me just talking to somebody across the table. I talk about my foreclosure experience. I talk about a gentleman that I was trying to help via short sale when I was an agent. Wasn't successful in doing a short sale with him, but he was so impressed with the level of knowledge that I presented that he slid a check over to me. He wanted to go ahead and pay me as opposed to paying the bank. And this is around the time the subprime issues begin to hit the Southern California area, or the United States for that matter. And so all I did was started sharing a lot of my experiences, things that I experienced in real estate investing. And here we are, January 2000. You fast forward to January 2000 and 2019, and we got like 26,000 subscribers. A Facebook group that I didn't even want. Yeah. So, in March, when this thing really started to get going, and I had probably about, I don't know, 3,000 to 4,000 subscribers, something like that. My wife, she kept begging me. She was like, "Look, you need a Facebook group." I was like, "I don't want a Facebook group." I fought my wife for 2 weeks. I had no desire for a Facebook group. None. So you all can thank my wife for the house flipping family. One thing led to another, and I started the Facebook group, and ever since the first month, that thing just exploded. I probably have about 300 to 400 friend requests still. I'm kind of selective in that way. A little bit of an introvert. Kind of low key. I'm approachable though. But essentially, that's who I am. I chose real estate because it really, my great grandmother, she made an impression upon me years ago that real estate was something used to take care of family. I didn't know till later on, years later on, that it was really a vehicle to make money. My first impression was to take care of family, and that's probably why so many people have been attracted to the channel, is because I give so much information, so much actionable information, and the things that many people are buying at local seminars. You just come to my channel. Just come to my channel. You can go ahead and get it for free. I got some additional things that I can go ahead and I do have for sale, but you can just go ahead and come on my channel and get those things for free. I came across one gentleman shot me a comment about a month ago, and he said, Gerald, he said, "It's interesting, I found your channel." He says, "I know someone who has this same information that you're giving away for free, but they're charging $1,300. They're charging $1,300 just to get the information that you're just giving away. I was like, wow, 1,300, that's beautiful, man. But yeah, it's a business that if you're just doing it for money, I think you're missing out on some other things that could be of huge benefit for your life. I mean, people that know me know, and I say it again, you know, I got a real regular house, a real regular car. I shop at Walmart or Target, and I'm approachable. Although, you know, if you see me out there, there was one young lady saw me, um, overreacted a little bit. She had overreacted, I thought, overreacted a little bit. Um, don't look at me like I'm some, um, like, oh my gosh. Nah. We shake hands, have a nice day, how's your family? You know, so, uh, yeah, that's me. That's me. I got a beautiful wife and baby girl that you all have seen in some of the videos, right? Uh, and eventually, I'm gonna stop being more of an introvert, and I'll be a little bit more of an extrovert, and start connecting with the hundreds of you all that want to connect. My wife is getting on me about starting a real estate investment club. A lot of agents, a lot of real estate agents, brokers would like to meet. And so we'll see how that goes, guys. But anyways, yeah, that's who I am, and but really where it started, guys, was not money. It's not money. I know I'm not as active in the House Flipping Family Facebook group as I should be, but I didn't start with because I loved money. I think I just had a passion and a love really for people, like great grandma did. I keep saying grandma, but it's my great grandmother, Medea. And so, yeah, she had a special gift in affecting positive, godly, and loving change in people's lives. And so, you know, guess you all can dedicate. I guess I can dedicate this video to her. Thank you, Medea. You know, because of the impression that she made, hopefully I can go ahead and impact thousands upon millions of people. I think that's why I got such a. When somebody comes on my channel, they say they're homeless. People that listen from, they said they listen from different, from their cars and stuff like that. That's why I have just a passion to help, you know, people in that way, and to encourage them. Hey, you know what? You're not alone. Continue to move forward. Continue to be consistent in taking action. I'll be praying for them, which is one of the things I go ahead and I tell them. But yeah, guys, that's who I am. That's how I started, and yeah. So, anyways, if you guys see this on a huge network or television or something like that one day, it'd be a pretty cool bio. You know what I mean? Gerald explodes as a real estate investor because of great grandma. That's not such a bad thing. Anyways, guys, if y'all found value, please click the like button. Share this with some family and friends, man. Also think about joining the House Flipping Family Facebook group. Just go to Google, or go to Google. Type in House Flipping Family right there on page 1. Go ahead and join the House Flipping Family Facebook group, where a lot of these people, I'm looking at the group right now, so a ton of people getting their questions answered, guys. Anyways, this is Gerald, and to this young lady, I don't want to necessarily say her name or anything like that, but I'm going to go ahead and hope this answers your question. And you all take care. Have a good day.